Do you think those iconic items at Costco will always sit on the shelves? The harsh truth is that 30 familiar food items are quietly disappearing, without notice, without a bulletin board, and without warning. In the next few minutes, you'll know which items are about to disappear, which have been discontinued without many people knowing, and which ones you need to grab before it's too late. This is a list Costco will never tell you directly. You'd be awesome if you liked this video. 1. Kirkland Jumbo Chocolate Muffins. If any item felt like a steal the moment you paid for it, it was the Kirkland Jumbo Chocolate Muffin. They were heavy, rich, and big enough to feed the whole family for breakfast. But then, without a word, the jumbo version was pulled and replaced by smaller muffins. It wasn't about poor quality. It was about rising ingredient costs, portion control, and profit optimization. Savvy shoppers noticed immediately. The rules of the game had changed. It wasn't just the size that was lost. For those who relied on that buy one, stay full for days value, an era has officially ended. 2. Yakisoba Stir-Fry Combo. The yakisoba stir-fry combo was once the quick and nutritious choice for busy families. It offered reliable flavor and a complete meal in just minutes. However, at many Costco warehouses, this item has quietly vanished. No signs, no press releases, just an empty shelf space that shoppers eventually got used to. Pressure from cold storage costs, low profit margins, and a shift toward more flexible products pushed yakisoba to the sidelines. It's a reminder for those who rely on ready-to-eat meals. The Costco shelf is a battlefield. Convenience doesn't guarantee longevity. Your favorite meal can evaporate at any time. 3. Kirkland Boxed Mac and Cheese. When it first launched, Kirkland Boxed Mac and Cheese was expected to be the perfect middle ground between a quick meal and a budget-friendly staple for large families. The reality was disappointing. The flavor was inconsistent. It had a strange aftertaste, and the cooking experience let down too many customers. When a product fails to meet core quality standards, Costco doesn't hesitate. Its removal wasn't an accident. It was an inevitable outcome. This is a familiar wake-up call for longtime shoppers. Costco doesn't keep items just because they're cheap. They keep them because they're worth buying. 4. Kirkland Turkey Burgers. In the diet-friendly category, Kirkland Turkey Burgers used to stand out for being simple, easy to track for calories, and perfect for long-term meal prep. The meat was firm, the flavor was clear, and they held up well on the grill, perfectly matching the Costco spirit of practicality. But when sales weren't high enough to justify rising storage costs, they were quietly withdrawn, making room for brands like Butterball and Bubba. While the replacements are more famous, they struggle to fill the void. From a savvy buyer's perspective, this is a classic retail lesson. Value is only recognized when it's backed by high sales velocity. 5. Kirkland 4-Cheese Ravioli. The Kirkland 4-Cheese Ravioli was once the MVP of late-night dinners. Its rich, exploding cheese center could complete a high-quality meal in a flash. But then, a quiet purge took place. This fan favorite vanished without a trace, replaced by flashier, trendier successors. For veteran deal hunters, the old flavor remains an untouchable icon. This disappearance is definitive proof of the cutthroat rules at Costco. Nostalgia counts for zero. Turnover rate is everything. No matter how beautiful the memory, it must surrender to the ruthless math of efficiency and profit. 6. Kirkland Light Beer. Costco once hoped Kirkland Light Beer would be a hit due to its shockingly low price. However, its lackluster quality caused the product to miss the mark. The taste was watery, the finish lacked balance, and the overall experience wasn't convincing enough for repeat buys. Sales stalled quickly, and Costco chose a silent exit. There was no wave of regret, and no one campaigned for its return. At Costco, the Kirkland name isn't a permanent pass. Every product revolves around a single standard: actual quality. 7. Hot Turkey Sandwich. Once a rare premium highlight at the food court, the hot turkey sandwich felt like a true upgrade. With tender turkey, melted provolone, and rich pesto mayo, it far exceeded fast food standards. However, after the pandemic, it never returned. The reasons were behind the scenes: high ingredient costs, complex preparation, and slow service speeds. These all contradicted Costco's lean operations philosophy. Don't mistake popularity for survival. No matter how much a dish is craved, it will be cut if it's inefficient. The market has no mercy for impracticality. 8. Kirkland Organic Peanut Butter. The appeal of Kirkland Organic Peanut Butter lay in its honesty. A minimal recipe and a rich, natural taste in a market full of additives. It was a bargain for families who valued both health and budget. But then, the product began to disappear, leaving a hole that was hard to fill. The issue wasn't demand, but rather an unstable supply chain and skyrocketing input costs. At Costco, when an item can no longer guarantee consistency, they are willing to pull the plug. The shopping lesson here: don't wait for next time. The line between a bargain in your cart and a total disappearance can be as short as a single night. 9. Chocolate-dipped ice cream bars. There was a time when the chocolate-dipped ice cream bar was a Costco icon. Its appeal came from the intense contrast: cold and crunchy, smooth and nutty. It turned even the pickiest guests into loyal fans. But behind that perfection were soaring costs for dairy and almonds, plus a time-consuming hand-dipping process. When operational efficiency was no longer aligned, Costco chose to stop. Don't let the taste fool you. In this game, if it isn't efficient and optimized, even a legend can evaporate in an instant. 10. Liquid caged eggs. Thanks to rock-bottom prices and unmatched convenience, liquid eggs from caged hens were once the top solution for high-volume cooking. However, this product quietly left the shelves as Costco accelerated its commitment to cage-free sourcing. It wasn't about poor quality. It was a long-term strategy focused on supply chain transparency, animal welfare, and brand image. The era of cheap at any cost has ended. Now, ethics and humanity are the power metrics reshaping every shelf at Costco. 3. Kirkland Coconut Water. A unique pink hue, a crisp taste, and an incredible price made Kirkland Coconut Water a must-have refreshment for every home. Then one day, the familiar bottle vanished, replaced by Harmless Harvest, a cleaner brand that is smaller and more expensive. There was no official announcement, just a quiet change on the shelf. Being willing to kill a low-cost favorite to protect a clean source, that is Costco's way of navigating supply chain storms. 12. Kirkland Ravioli. Kirkland Ravioli didn't disappear because of poor quality. It vanished because Costco shifted its priorities. When brands like Rana and Fazios arrived with a fresher, more premium image, the decision to replace it was made quickly. But for regular buyers, the difference was clear. The old cheese flavor was more well-rounded and consistent. Killing old habits to keep up with market speed is a clear Costco strategy. Accept change to never become obsolete. Like the video if this surprised you. 13. Cinnamon Sugar Pretzels. The cinnamon sugar pretzel was the ultimate addictive soul food at the food court. The warm butter and heavy cinnamon scent were the perfect reward after a long shopping trip. But when Costco restructured its menu, the pretzel was cut to make room for the churro, which is easier to make and faster to serve. It wasn't because the pretzel lacked appeal, it simply didn't fit the new operational pace. Costco draws a clear line. Memories must give way to practical value. Efficiency is king. 14. Seasonal niche deli items. Don't forget the deli stars that once shook up the shelves. Spicy mango, specialty salsas, or regional niche sauces. They were a symphony of unique flavors that made shopping exciting. While they initially drew curiosity, demand wasn't consistent enough. Their slow turnover meant they quickly fell off the priority list. Costco doesn't cut items because they taste bad, but because not enough people buy them consistently. At Costco, the masses rule. Any extreme uniqueness pays the price by disappearing instantly. 15. Choco Coconut Milk. More than just a popular drink, Choco Coconut Milk was a kitchen staple thanks to its rich creaminess. But everything stopped when investigations into the use of forced monkey labor for coconut harvesting went public. Under pressure from consumers and animal rights groups, Costco immediately pulled the product. There was no second chance. No low price or high sales volume could change Costco's stance. It was an ironclad statement. Ethics is the finish line, not a bargaining chip. 16. BBQ Brisket Sandwich. Rich, tender, and powerful. The BBQ brisket sandwich elevated the concept of the food court. Each saucy shred of meat was a feast, not just a quick bite. However, behind that flavor was a long prep time, high costs, and a complex process. As Costco optimized operations, the brisket became a necessary sacrifice. Being delicious is a requirement, but being fast and efficient is the deal breaker. Costco has no room for complexity no matter how tempting it may be. 17. Kirkland Sirloin and Loin Beef Burgers. The Kirkland Beef Burger was the champion of weekend barbecues. Its lean ratio and firm texture provided an incredible bite. This was the definition of a standard beef burger. Not too fatty, not crumbly. Perfect for those who love pure meat flavor. But as costs rose and the catalog needed streamlining, this product quietly left the shelves to make way for fattier grass-fed options. Costco's intent is clear. Prioritize lean operations and be willing to shed familiar experiences. Operational efficiency now outweighs nostalgia. Shiba, Kirkland chocolate chips. Kirkland's secret weapon. Large chips, smooth melt, and a deep cocoa flavor. They were the magic touch for every batch of home-baked cookies. But when global cocoa prices skyrocketed, keeping the price low became impossible. Costco chose a decisive path. Pull the product rather than raise the price and erode the Kirkland value brand. This exit says a lot more than just losing a baking ingredient. It shows Costco would rather cut a product than break the value standard they've built for years. 19. Large packs of Diet Coke/Diet Pepsi. Seeing a massive pack of Diet Coke was the essence of Costco. The more you buy, the better the deal. It was a direct hit to retail pricing, favoring wholesale buyers. But then, the 36-can packs started disappearing, replaced by smaller packs or limited distribution. The reason wasn't the supply chain, but shifting consumer trends. The demand for diet and carbonated sodas is clearly dropping. At Costco, slow inventory is a risk. And so, the buy more to save more option quietly closed. 20. Kirkland Organic Coconut Water. Kirkland Organic's natural pink hue surprised even the most sophisticated drinkers. It wasn't artificially clear. It won people over with its purity and absolute realness. That imperfection created trust. Then, the product silently vanished from many locations, replaced by bottles that were more expensive and contained less. No noise, no explanation. This is a red flag from Costco. Regardless of customer fanhood, if the supply or cost fluctuates, they will cut it without hesitation. Familiarity must yield to sustainable efficiency. 21. All-American Chocolate Cake. The king of the party table was the All-American Chocolate Cake. It was smooth, heavily frosted, and packed with powerful American cocoa flavor. It was the can't-miss choice for birthdays. But when ingredient costs rose and demand shifted towards smaller products, that giant cake was crossed off the list. Costco introduced a more convenient mini version, though the flavor isn't quite the same. Nostalgia cannot save obsolescence. At Costco, flexibility is the only ticket to survival. Scale and a glorious past must both step aside. 22. Kirkland Organic Vanilla Soy Milk. Kirkland Vanilla. Soy milk was a pantry staple for many homes. It offered a smooth taste, and buying by the case was enough to fuel a week of healthy energy. But then the product was removed from the entire system, not because it was bad, but because it had been selling slowly for years. Costco chose to simplify its catalog, letting go of an item that was okay but not a breakout hit. The gap it left remained until a replacement finally appeared. It's a clear reminder. At Costco, survival depends on consistent buying, not just how much you like it. 23. Combo Pizza. The combo pizza was a legend that ruled the food court. Rich meat, fresh veggies, and melted cheese created the ultimate slice. One piece was enough to crush your hunger and satisfy your taste buds. But since the pandemic, this item has vanished and hasn't returned. The reason isn't flavor. It's the complex preparation, heavy toppings, and slow service speed, all of which contradict the new lean strategy. Its long absence reveals a cold reality. At Costco, any item that slows down the line is unlikely to survive, no matter how much it is loved. 24. Kirkland's classic frozen beef patties recipe. The old Kirkland patties defined quality through their firm texture and original aroma. It was the experience of a standard ground beef patty that everyone loved on the grill. But when Costco restructured its inventory, this formula was quietly replaced by a newer, fattier, and simpler version. Packaging is just a cover. The first bite is the real test. Clearly, Costco chose safe standardization over the unique character of individual products. 25. King Arthur 00 Pizza Flour. Once a treasure in the kitchen, King Arthur 00 turned home pizza, making into an art form. It created a light, chewy crust thanks to its perfect absorption. But then, this product stopped returning as a seasonal item. No noise, no notice. It simply vanished from the ordering cycle. The reason lies in inconsistent demand across regions and difficult-to-manage seasonality. At Costco, niche products rarely have a permanent home, no matter how excellent the quality. 26. Polish hot dog. Alongside the classic $1.50 combo, the Polish hot dog is a taste sensation, intensely garlicky with firm meat, embodying the authentic spirit of kielbasa, leaving diners captivated from the first bite. But when Costco streamlined its menu, this item was removed to focus on the best-selling option, not because it was bad, but because sales weren't compelling enough to justify the assembly line service. This elimination exposes a harsh reality. At Costco, speed and minimalism reign supreme. Dishes with unique character are forced to give way to the rapid industrial production line. 27. Kirkland Turkey Burger. Kirkland Turkey Burgers dominated the Eat Clean kitchen because they were convenient and had a clean ingredient list. Low fat, high protein, and incredibly easy to grill. The perfect smart food. They had a small but very loyal following. Then, they were removed to make room for more famous brands. That decision reflects a new priority: maximizing sales speed and minimizing inventory. Savvy observers see the rule. Selling well isn't enough. You must sell fast. Speed crushed endurance in this race to stay on the shelf. 28. Kirkland Fresh Mango Salsa. Without being overly elaborate, the old mango salsa captivated diners with its pure freshness. Sweet, subtly spicy, and with a smooth texture, it was the perfect complement to any top-notch grilled dish. Then the manufacturer ran into trouble. The supply became unstable and the product disappeared from the shelves. Substitutes appeared, more expensive but with less convincing flavor. That disappearance confirms the truth. When identity clashes with the supply chain, the system always wins. Costco doesn't sell flavor, they sell optimization to the extreme. 29. Old version jumbo muffins. The old jumbo muffins were the epitome of absolute value. Massive size, solid texture, and classic flavor. Just a small slice was enough to satisfy hunger and provide energy for the whole day. When Costco switched to smaller muffins with fewer pieces in each box, many realized the old value had faded into the background. There was no farewell, just a quiet change. The harsh truth emerged. It was time for Costco to prioritize profit figures over its former extravagance. Cost control was now the ultimate priority. 30. Kirkland Frozen Cocktails. Ignite every party with Kirkland Cocktail. The ultimate promise: eliminate tedious mixing and instant defrosting for a premium drink. Maximum convenience, complete enjoyment. But reality didn't live up to expectations. A harsh taste, a noticeable alcoholic aftertaste, and a lack of balance led to many boxes being left unfinished. Sales reflected this quickly, and Costco chose to end the experiment. No fuss, no coaxing. This story clearly illustrates one thing: Costco is willing to try something new, but also willing to withdraw if the experience doesn't meet expectations. At Costco, what reigns supreme on the shelf isn't emotion, it's numbers. Don't confuse your personal preference with their survival strategy. No matter how much a product once dominated, if it doesn't guarantee capital turnover or cost optimization, it will be axed without mercy. Efficiency is absolute. Therefore, never assume your go-to item will always be there waiting for you. Stop dreaming and start observing. When you see signs of scarcity or a change in location, that is the alarm bell ringing. Which product in the video surprised you the most?